Welcome to the Scene Snobs podcast.
Welcome to the Scene Snobs podcast with your hosts, Mick and Casey.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine and lovely evening. A pleasure to see you, my good friend, Mick.
Great to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining me as always.
Well, of course, man. What else am I going to do? It's Tuesday night, and there's no better place to be than right here.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to watch an old dude talk about politics when you can watch two funny young dudes talk about politics?
I mean, right? We're not talking heads. We don't get paid by anyone. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about us being influenced one way or the other.
And also, we have no lobbyists, so we can just say whatever the hell we want.
Darn tootin'.
So, guys, I am so excited. We're going to have a really fun episode tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Corinne here. Hey, Corinne.
Hi, Corinne.
Thank you. AJ, as always, who's been waiting a long time.
Hi, AJ.
Thank you, AJ. Appreciate it. Kathleen is here.
Kathleen, what's up,
Happy
man?
Tuesday from both me and the tiny tyrant who refuses to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Kids' melatonin goes a long way.
I was just having that conversation earlier. It's like, you don't want to do it for a while, and then suddenly you're like, all right.
It's for the most extreme of circumstances.
Precisely.
Yeah, so we are here. We're having a good time. We have a lot to discuss. We have so much to discuss. We probably have some rants coming out tonight. But we have a lot of topics to go through and a bunch of announcements. So, Case.
Hi.
Did you know that we stand with Ukraine?
I absolutely knew that.
Hell yeah, you did. Because we've been talking about it quite a bit on our own.
Yes, because sovereign democratic nations have every fucking right to remain sovereign democratic nation.
Absolutely. And we're going to get more into that, but we did want to state that the proceeds from our Patreon and our sponsorship deals and things like that and merch and everything like that this month are all going 100% to help with the crisis relief fund for Ukraine. We want to do our part, and I think we've both been like chomping at the bit. I know I texted Casey the other day, and I was just like, I'm watching the news enraged, and I found out about the International Legion for the Ukraine,
sir.
And I went whole hog. I'm like, I'm going to submit. Now, I am not accepted because I have no military or police training, but I thought my fire, EMS, and hazmat training might help, and I was carefully reminded that was 17 years ago.
What, Chernobyl?
No, my
way
training.
Longer than that.
Way longer than training? That. My training, and I did not think that it was. I truly, honestly, I was like, no, it was only like 4 or 5 years ago. That was 2006 I left.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, and many abs ago. So,
dude, that's some truth, man. I've gained a few belt sizes since 2001 when I graduated basic.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna volunteer Casey, and I'm gonna hide in his suitcase as he goes.
Yeah, because that won't be comical crossing Poland with the largest suitcase that anyone has ever seen.
Do you think you would need like a cello case?
No.
This is where I keep my clothes.
Yeah, a monster cello case. Look, if I keep my clothes in here, no one will stop me. Because who wants a cello?
It's a pod is basically what you would have to take with you. Just be like, listen, pods, I need to get one to Ukraine for my stuff. Wait, what? And that's how I would get with you.
Exactly. I would just have a lot of stuff. I'd be like, look, this is humanitarian relief. That's what I'd call it. You're my humanitarian relief effort.
Well, all I know is it would be the Scene Snobs going over to tell Putin to start scooting and get out because screw that.
I don't know if a podcast would do it, though.
Oh, no, we're not going to do, we might do, TikTok updates and whatnot, but right. No, I would not do that.
Well, I know you've been waiting. You've been chomping at the bit to fight Russians for a long time now. Long time.
Not Russians. I don't hate Russians. I want to clarify that now. The Russian people that are suffering under this tyrannical reign, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for
20-year tyrannical reign of a man who has taken over not only the presidency, But the judicial branch, the legislative branch, I mean, the Duma, all of it is just, it's all nothing. It's all just Putin.
Hiding behind the guise that is a democracy.
Yep, and it's a guise, and it's really hurt the people, and it's a very sad thing to see. It's a terrible thing to see, and it's unfortunate that someone has been able to take absolute control in that manner. It's terrifying, but we've seen it with him. We've seen it with Xi in China, so it's happening all over.
And he wants nothing more than to have the USSR return. And he said it on so many occasions.
Now, fortunately, he's painted himself in a corner here in a way that he's not going to be able to get out of this. Okay, the Russian people are turning against him heavily. His soldiers are turning around. They've, not all of them have stopped fighting. Obviously, there's large swaths of people still fighting in the Ukraine. There's a lot of intense battles going on. But there are forces. The morale is breaking. There's signs that things are cracking.
Well, absolutely. And it's beautiful to see. And President Zelensky, who's our type of people, he's a movie guy.
He's a comedian.
But he was an actor in movies.
He was fucking Paddington Bear, for fuck's sake.
Paddington Bear.
Fucking Bear.
I love it. And he played the president on a TV show.
Yeah, which was brilliant. That teacher, it's a comedy where a teacher gets elected president through populist means because he brings this national pride. And all of a sudden, here he is using common sense and national pride and effectively really waging this new war. Now, there's a lot to be said about this war. This is a fascinating war. And through the eyes of a historian,
I would love to hear
World War I. Yes, this is World War I all over again. This is what we thought was going to be the Blitz. We saw this as 1935, the taking of Czechoslovakia, where they were just going to roll through just the way Hitler did and take over and then just be like, oh, all right, we're going to stay here for a couple of years and then maybe expand out. Maybe go to Maldives or wherever else they want to go, Poland or wherever they're looking. But the fact that they're standing up and fighting this way, the fact that there's so much going on and it's not being just done physically. It's not being done just with bullets or just with Molotovs, which are incredible. The Ukrainian people are doing work, man. They have invested the time and effort, and it's beautiful to see their people to come together this way. The really shocking part here is what's happening, from the economic standpoint. This economic war that has been waged with the cutting off of SWIFT, cutting off the central bank of Russia, Putin coming out and saying he's seizing all the assets of countries who were dealing with him in there. And now he seized those assets. So no other Western country is ever going to do business with him again.
Switzerland is taking a side. Switzerland.
Yeah.
The most neutral, who didn't take sides in the most devastating of times, is taking a side now. Like we're at a point. We're on a precipice of something we've never seen before.
Right. And with this warfare, this economic warfare is a huge part of that. Because now we're seeing Putin has no allies. He's left out to dry.
Even China.
Then we also see what's going on. Yeah, China especially. What's happening up with the Scandinavian countries is fascinating. Because these are nations that were terrified of the man for years. They refused to do anything, and now they immediately go, "Hey, NATO and EU, what's up? Let's make this happen."
Because you know what? And because you're the historian, and I'm the dreamer. In this, like, you deal more with facts, and I love it. I'm going to say, because a David, if you will, stood up against a Goliath and said, I got nobody at my back except my people, and I'm going to hold you down.
Yeah.
And he's doing it. The Ukrainian people are an inspiration. They stepped up. I said to my wife when this started, and she was like, why isn't NATO going in there? And I'm saying this from the perspective of, like, I'm not saying like, oh no, this is the way it should be. I'm just saying it as fact, because the Ukrainian people and the country to NATO have not shown that they should be a part of NATO at the moment. And shown means they don't have the backing, they don't have the proper things that go into it, and it's all bullshit. And that's
military spending. Things are they're leveled out in a certain way. You have a certain amount of percentage you have to buy in, but then it's not really buying in. It's as long as you spend that much and promise to spend that much, you're good. Yeah, they got Germany, bro. Germany is now going to have a standing army again.
Yeah,
like that is insane. 100 billion euros. Like they're dumping. They're like, hey, you know what? We can't stay neutral anymore. It's just not working this way.
And I love that. And one big thing for me is like, I think a lot of it was, bigger countries, a part of NATO and the European Union and such, were looking at the Ukraine saying, you're only about 30 years old. We don't even know what you would do up against adversity. Mm-hmm. And what they're doing now is more than I believe most countries would do. Yeah, even well-established countries.
It's a pretty impressive feat that's going on. Zelensky's call to get other people from other nations helping. I watched an interview with the deputy minister for, I want to say, future cyber growth. And essentially what he's done is he was talking about how they've crippled Russia's infrastructure, their YouTube channels, everything. They've just been wiping it with 120,000 cyber troops. This is the other part of the warfare that no one's talking about, because Russia launched tons of attacks. They've had foreign actors as doing this all the time. That's why all of a sudden you notice a bunch of accounts that have disappeared, and all of a sudden they lost their funding, and you don't hear all these different rah-rahs from the different sites. Mm-hmm. Curious how that works. But they don't have defenses. They never bothered spending money on defenses. They were all about just putting stuff out there and screwing with people and disinformation. Well, you can't worry about information in a shooting war. And you need contact and a way to communicate. And that's one thing that Ukraine has done, is just completely wiped it. Like the Ukrainian cyber army has just been smoking them. Anonymous. There's tons of groups that are all joining up, because a lot of those groups are in the Eastern Bloc. They're old former Soviet Union nations, and that's where a lot of those members are. So, of course, they're going to fight back. This is a glorious thing to see. This is part of the new warfare. That's also terrifying, is warfare on social media. We're seeing live images of things that are just mind-boggling. We're learning how to make Molotov cocktails, how to drive tanks, how to grab weapons from the ground and just start fucking shooting.
TikTok alone has proven huge to helping the Ukrainian people build a force to say, if you see an abandoned tank, this is how you operate it, and showing you step by step these videos, these 3-minute videos that TikTok provides. And now these people and these young kids, I would have never even fathomed this, and we could go forward and use social media as a tool like that. Mm-hmm. Now I knew we could use social media as a tool, but like in a situation like this where it's dire, that's huge and it's big. And Elon Musk stepping up and giving them internet so they can do these things.
Yeah, because now, mind you, their infrastructure hasn't gone down. No, they have stayed up. I mean, even that video, there was a video of a Russian missile striking one of their main communication towers in Kyiv, and nothing. It was fine. It's still standing. It's like, wow. Yeah. I think that's a symbol for things that we're not aware of, that the resolve of the human. You can't conquer a people who won't be conquered. Pure and simple. That's why a land war against us just wouldn't work, because we're all assholes. Americans will just fight back to the freaking end. We don't care. We may be wrong, but you can't fucking tell us we're wrong.
Listen, the first line of defense, I've said it my entire life. The first line of defense, if the Ruskies, like we talk about, what do you call it? Red Dawn with the Wolverines. And that is, I feel like that would happen. And it would happen on a much more epic scale, because everybody would just be like, no. We're going to be behind the fences. Come on, we're going to fight. We're going to bite. We're going to do whatever we have to do. But it would never get to that point unless they attacked from the Pacific, because nobody's getting past Jersey. These Ruskies would fly over Jersey, and let me tell you something. The scrapyards would be filled with the blood of dead Ruskies.
They would 100% realize that there is nothing they need in the Americas after flying over Jersey. They'd be like, nope,
shut your goddamn.
That is the wrong direction to go.
No, I'm sharing this right now, and this is fact. This is fact. Somebody pointed out on Twitter, the official Ukrainian Twitter, somebody pointed out and said they follow very few people, and they're following the state of New Jersey. And they said, can you believe this? And Ukraine, the official Ukraine Twitter, put back and replied, because they're cool. So thank you, Ukraine, for proving what I've always known, what Casey's never known, and he needs to come to terms with, and the rest of the U.S. needs to come to terms with, that if everybody in the U.S. stood up and said, we're going to take over Jersey, we would be the United States and New Jersey by the end of the week. That's what would happen.
This is how you, first of all, that couldn't be more wrong because you have to figure out how roads work without potholes and be way too confusing.
Yeah, you couldn't figure it out.
You have no idea.
Where did swimming pool come
Jersey
from? Garden State
through
Parkway.
Maryland and wound up here in Northern Virginia. It's all shit. The roads suck.
You leave Jersey alone. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and I
And
love
look,
it.
I see what you're trying to get me to do here because the moment I have to say this, because it's the episode and I said I would say it the whole way through, you're going to be able to tie this back into some sort of Jersey bullshit. But stand with Ukraine.
No. Stand with Ukraine.
I stand with Ukraine, but technically that means I stand with Ukraine's Twitter. Which
New
means,
Jersey and Ukraine are best of friends.
Means I
There's
have
actually a large Ukrainian population in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we love
Ukrainians. And, yep.
We love all of you.
We love all of our immigrants, man.
And
all of our brothers and sisters who have made the journey to be here and become part of America. Hell yeah. Welcome. Open arms.
Anybody who's watching this 16 minutes in or listening to this 16 minutes in the next few days, and they're like, oh, this is a movie podcast. It is. And we're talking about a great goddamn actor who stepped up and became president. We're not talking about some stupid reality star with orange face. We're talking about a real man. President Zelensky.
Boom.
You're the man. You stood up to stupid Putin. That's right. And I hope Putin hears that. I don't care.
The oligarch with stupid fear tactics. Don't worry, he's not long for this world.
Yeah, whatever.
Dude, there's no way. I mean, I'm sorry, but he pissed off the oligarchs. He pissed off his friends who are all old KGB big money guys. They're just mafia of a nation.
Any of that KGB thinking needs to just disappear. A lot of things need to disappear in life.
And that's the thing. This isn't against the Russian people. This isn't against anybody who lays down their arms and walks away. You're doing the right thing. Because the world is not meant for these kind of wars anymore. Imperialism does not work, and it will not stand anymore. The subjugation of another people is absolutely unacceptable and will not stand anymore. I'm happy that Chechnya lost its top military leader. Guy can go fuck himself after hurting LGBTQ community because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Tired of that crap.
And one thing I do feel needs to be mentioned, and it's I feel like it's very important. I'm not making a joke here. Is the fact that we have to remember as Americans, we've always known freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have protests and we have things like that, I don't care what you think about them.
It's a civic duty.
Well, I know, but
duty.
Yes, but that not aside, because I'm not talking about that side of it. I'm just saying, no matter what you feel about whatever protest is going on, we've grown up with freedom. We understand a world of democracy, republic, and freedom. Liberty is literally something that is ingratiated in us from birth.
It's born, baby. That is in our souls.
For the people who are speaking out against all Russians, I feel it's important that you guys know that they've never known freedom. So when you have your government literally telling you on everything, on every device that they control, that we have to do this because it's a denazification, it's this, that, and the other thing, and they're sickly feeding this propaganda into the people. And these people are still protesting because they're like, I don't want to be in a war. I don't want to do this. We have to remember, we have to show some compassion to that, to the everyday people who are hearing this. And not saying, like if it's people who are taking up arms with hate, you've chosen. But for the people who are getting thrown in jail, fined, and everything else, because they are speaking out against. That's something that we need to realize and that stop taking for granted is that they are going to be thrown in jail. Some killed. Let's face facts. We're never going to know those numbers.
1,700 people arrested in one night.
Yeah. We have to stop saying like screw Russia, this, that, and the other, because it's not the Russian people. It's this maniacal dickhead named Putin, and I'm looking at you, Putin, named Putin, who is leading a charge of other like-minded assholes. And then it trickles down into people who have been either brainwashed into believing this or are just trying to do their job, albeit it does not mean I'm defending them doing their job because it's wrong. But for whatever reason, we have to remember that the everyday people who are just watching this happen and are protesting it and are getting hurt, we can't just say screw Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So let's show a little compassion there. That's my only thing with that.
I agree. I completely agree. And there's definitely something to be said for that. Those people who are rioting, because that's what it's called in Russia. One person holding a sign that says Putin is wrong is considered a riot. That's the way it can be prosecuted, and the people are treated that way. So it can be harsh, very harsh, just to speak out. Protesting, something that we do commonly, something we take for granted, something that we decide, am I doing it this weekend? I don't know. What does it look like? Is it rainy? Maybe. Whereas a place like France, it's their civic fucking duty. They see it as they must protest. It's in their constitution to protest.
Yeah. Which
is an important thing that we've forgotten about because we have cable and air conditioning and water all the time that's relatively clean. Yeah. We don't have many things to worry about. So seeing this happen now before our eyes live in real time, it jars you. It's shaking. It's shocking. Yeah. And it's sad that we're still in a place that allows leaders to do this. And I think this is going to be changing a lot of the world stage. We are going to see things are going to alter in a big way. And I just hope they can alter as peacefully, as rapidly as possible without more bloodshed. Because it's so unfortunate, man. It's just more loss of life. And that's never brought anyone forward ever.
Yeah. And listen, no matter where you stand on anything, we still have people who protest for their very lives here in this country today, and people speak out against them as they're criminals, and it's bullshit. Yeah, it's the same people who will jump out and start protesting over masks or vaccines. And listen, I'm not trying to divide the line here because I don't like the Crypt Keeper as much as I don't like the Orange Overlord. Let's be fair. I don't like politicians because we don't have anybody who wants to lead on a moral and just basis. We have people, and every single one of them on every single seat and every single aspect of our government is corrupt in a way because they all get paid to do what they need to do and push a unjust and corrupt system all the way through.
Yep.
So, this isn't me praising our government. But we're very lucky to have the government we have comparatively to a lot of countries, even Russia, which is a developed country and a superpower, is nowhere near as developed as we are.
Was a superpower.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah, buddy. Ukraine is definitely showing them that who has the real superpowers.
Well, I'm talking the economic crippling factor that we've done to them.
Oh, no, I was calling Ukraine superheroes.
Oh, no, and you should. And I'm very, yes. And, it's because he's like a weird Lex Luthor. What would we call Putin? Like, what is he even next to? MODOK?
No, just a jerk off.
That's fair.
He doesn't even deserve a villain's name in a comic book. He is a jerk off. You are a jerk off.
Yeah, but he's also a dead jerk off. He has no options. He has no place to go. He's got no place to run, no place to hide. There's nothing the man can do.
Yep.
So it's very scary when you're in a situation like that and you realize the man with all the buttons has nowhere to go.
I like to think that somebody will stand against him. That's my hope.
Dude, I've been thinking that and hoping that and praying that. I need a general in there who's just like, enough. I need someone to do something because this is just terrifying.
Yeah. Putin, don't press any buttons. I'll tell you what. I know you're a Mr. Judo master. I am not judo trained. Fair amount of fighting behind my experience. Casey can attest to some of that. I'm older. You could probably kick my ass. Why don't we get in a room together and hash it out? You jerk off.
He's a 72-year-old man who potentially either has cancer from some rumors or Parkinson's, according to others. So
I don't give a fuck.
I don't think he really.
He's killing kids. He's killing kids. I don't care if you're a 7-year-old man. You deserve to be thrown out of a window.
Yeah.
You're killing children.
Yeah.
You are bombing apartment complexes.
He's bombing hospitals.
You are a piece of trash. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how sick you are. I don't care what you are. You are a vile piece of garbage. And
as a byproduct of this, Germany has upgraded how fast they'll be moving to renewable resources after cutting off their pipeline. So they've moved up from 2050 to 2035.
Yeah, well, based on the UN's assessment of how climate change is affecting us, we're screwed.
It doesn't matter. It's too late. We can't undo climate change. That's the shit part about it. Once I remember how a couple years ago they're like the 2 degrees centigrade. That's it, and we're now at 3.2 degrees. It's like, whoops. Well, too late, guys. Later, runaway effect. Bye.
It's so crazy to me that like when you watch like the Marvel movies, and you're like, oh man, Thanos is the villain. He's definitely the villain. He's been doing so much, but then you look at your real world and you're like, maybe here he wouldn't be.
Maybe he's not that bad a guy. I mean, look, it's
no, he's a bad guy, but
still,
like
it's still genocide. It's still genocide.
Blip. And I'm saying that knowing that I'd probably be blipped, but like maybe that's a good thing so other people could survive. I don't know, and of course I kid with that, but I know one person can be blipped, and then we're going to move on to the next topic.
Right. Gosh, wouldn't it be so much easier if we could just blip them?
Blip all the dictators and assholes and pieces of shit, garbage, mother.
Yeah, get all.
But only if we can pick an actual replacement, not be ham-fisted a replacement of like, well, this is the next person up. No, we actually find somebody who is a decent human being who wants good things to happen to people and cares about people.
Like Zelensky, who took over the role from one of Putin's puppets. That was a puppet fucking president that he took over.
Yep. And also someone who, after being attacked in 2014, needed weapons and went to our former president, and said, I need weapons. And that former president said, well, I need a favor with Hunter Biden. So this is where we are now. So thank you, Agent Orange Overlord. But anyway.
But also adding new contracts with Russia that suddenly, because we needed more asbestos. So helped out one of those other oligarch buddies who's in charge of the asbestos business. Like that's the problem that people don't understand is it's when money is funneled to Russia, quote unquote, and people are making contracts with Russia, there's like imagine a table of 12 dudes and they divvy up all the money amongst themselves. And then they leave like a 13th little wedge, even that they go, that's for the people. That's what it is, man.
On that note, I do want to move on to our next topic because we are getting fired up here. But I do want to announce that we are trying to put together. So for anybody who knows the Scene Snobs, we do fund-a-thons every once in a while. And that is usually like an 8-hour type of telethon, marathon type thing where we are streaming live for that time. We have shows come on from all different places. Casey and I host, and then in between, and then we'll present all these different shows, and we try to raise funds for different charities. We did one actually a year ago in March for the Save Brady campaign, and Brady is still doing fine.
Brady's crushing, man. The eye surgery was great. Saved his life.
Yep, and we raised more than enough for Brady's surgery last year. And then we did it over the summer for a good friend of ours who was just on a show a few episodes ago, Jason Taylor. His brother-in-law was really sick and incapacitated, and we held a fund-a-thon for his brother-in-law. And now we want to piece one together for March 11th from maybe 5 to 1 a.m. It's an 8-hour show. So if you have a show and you're interested in jumping in, or you're a personality or something and you want to jump on with us and we can all have a good old time, let's do it. I want to piece it together, but I will need to know as soon as possible, because if we can't get enough people, we can't do it. But we are going, like I said, we're going to donate all of our proceeds from our earnings this month to the crisis relief fund for Ukraine, and then the link is in the bio, so you can check it out there. We actually, down in the links here in our YouTube and on our podcast and all platforms, are links to many different resources to help the Ukraine right now in different facets. So you can go down there and you can take a look. That it's all right in the description. So that, yeah. So, but with that being said, Casey, it's Fat Tuesday.
It is the fattest of Tuesdays.
It's the day before we give up everything for Lent.
Laissez les bon temps rouler.
Listen, stop with that French talk. Oui. So I want to talk to you a little bit about gluttony. I mean, you can look at me and gluttony exists.
I mean, it's one of my favorite sins. It's right under lust. Lust is the A number one. That's my one seed.
Well, what are you a glutton for?
That's a really interesting question. Punishment.
I knew that was coming.
I am a major glutton for punishment. I am all about taking it on the chin whenever, wherever, and however possible. Cake recently. I've gotten back into my sweets. I had gotten off of them for years. It was really weird. And then all of a sudden, about 2 years ago, I was like, I like pound cake again. And then I just started eating every cake available to me.
Cake, really? I never knew you
Marble
was a
cake,
cake guy.
coffee cake. Oh, bro. Cakes, like I'll get those half cakes. We've got a, what do you call it? One of them there grocery stores right next to me at work. So I'll go over there and just get a half cake for like $4 and just,
Jesus.
eat that while I cry to myself.
Well, it's funny. Maybe because when we were roommates, I just ate all of the cakes before you got to them.
Viable.
So, for me, it's and cake isn't even like my forte. Like, I don't like gravitate towards cake.
It's normally not mine.
Cannoli.
I don't know where it came from. I used to be all about like cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. All that Putin bashing, which is awesome, made me a little sleepy. And the cake talk, it was like, oh man, we're gonna punch stupid Russian presidents, okay? And cake, and then like
got
I
out
just
of
got a
breath.
little tired.
I really like some cake. I like to nap after my cake.
This bear's gotta hibernate. Just like wiggle the little tail. I'm more of a pie guy.
Ooh, yeah.
I
did my pies previously. I had a pie couple years with an ex. Actually, we were heavy into pies together. We did a pie things, ate at many pie places.
Nice.
Yes, it was delicious.
I would say my biggest thing for being a glutton is probably burgers. Because wherever I go, if it's someplace new, I want to try their burger.
Yeah, well, the burger is a really good tell of what kind of quality of food they have.
Yes, I do agree with that, but I'm always trying to top the best burger I've ever had.
Valid. What was the best burger you ever had?
The best burger I've ever had, it was in Los Angeles on Hollywood Boulevard. It was a place called Lucky Devils, then later became Lucky's Tavern. Now, the reason I knew that is when I lived there, Lucky Devils, we would go, and literally an orgasm in your mouth as you're eating their burgers. Any one of them. Nice. And we would go there a lot when I lived there. And yes, I know In-N-Out is great. It's number 2. Leave me alone. But Lucky Devils was the place. And then years later in 2014, I went back to LA to visit friends and, just kind of see what's what. And I saw it was called Lucky Tavern. And I went in, it was same decor and everything. I'm like, please tell me you guys still make the same burgers. Like, yeah, same cook, everybody, owners, the whole nine. It's just we switched it over because they became more of a bar setting than a restaurant. It was a very posh looking restaurant when I lived there. But when I went back, it was very like hipster bar type of look, but everything was still red. I was like, all right, this works better in my opinion. And so I went, and it's still, the burger was the best burger I've ever had.
All right.
So I've been chasing that dragon everywhere.
That's strong. Have you ever had Whataburger?
Yes. When I lived in Florida, I used to have Whataburger. We have one down the block from us. I'm
a fan of Whataburger, Crystal Burger. So when it comes to like fast food burgers, those are up there. I think better than In-N-Out. I wasn't in In-N-Out. It didn't blow me away, bro.
No, and people are different, especially when it comes to burgers. And I get that. That's why In-N-Out, as much as I loved it, isn't my favorite. It was that gourmet burger that just like hit the right way. I've never had, and because I had it so much and then came back years later and it was still so good. It just didn't reach. Bobby's Burger Place.
Ooh.
They have a good burger. Now I'm basing that on years ago having one. Mm-hmm. Now I'm talking like 2012. So they did have a really good burger. Did not measure up, but it's in the top 10.
That's fair. Have you ever heard of a place around here called the Hamburger Hamlet?
No, but you've just made my day.
Bro, it's one of my top spots, and it's in Northern Virginia. It's in Crystal City. It is
Crystal City.
Freaking great.
You maniac.
You're asking for a great burger. Now, look, we can still road trip down to Crystal, and I'd be more into that than actually road tripping further deeper into Northern Virginia. Look, I'm with you. Yeah. It's terrifying in there. It's a bad place, and people are crazy. It's Mad Max. Everyone's on the roads, freaking out. We live, we die, we live again, just driving, no blinkers. Go as fast as you can, slam on your brakes. It's terrifying. But the burgers, when you make it. Mwah.
All right. And then I might have to do that just for the burger. But I will say, like, it's just like, so burgers, whenever I go to a place, I'll either, if I don't order a burger, I'll order a Reuben.
Okay.
Because I like to test the Reuben. Now, usually Reubens are kind of all the same. The texture of the bread is the most important thing, I think.
Valid.
The right toasting.
Well, the corned beef can be stringy. If it's bad, stringy corned beef, it's not going to win me over.
Well, all right. I agree with you to a point. I've had some in my life, stringy corned beef, that was still thick enough and still juicy enough. It worked, and it was so tender when it ripped like that because it was stringy. It was nice. But I do agree with you. I prefer slices, not string.
Well, if it's too dry is what I'm getting at. Like if it tastes like, if it feels like string in your mouth and isn't just juicy and smooshy, then it's not worth it.
If you walk up to me and it's dry, I won't eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. No.
Get me a burger. That's my rule for a lot of things.
That's very fair. But yeah, so like, and mozzarella sticks. I'm a glutton for mozzarella sticks. So.
Where do you land on patty melts?
On where?
Patty melts. Is it like a fake burger? Because it's not a burger bun. It's on a piece of usually rye bread.
I don't eat them. It's got to be a good bun.
Okay. Fair. That's good to know.
So, and now that's the thing. But like when I'm looking, if you have a patty melt, you also have a burger on your menu.
Fair.
So I'm immediately going to gravitate towards that.
Valid.
I don't like the burgers on Texas toast.
Okay.
Basically,
I don't like them on Texas toast as much, but I like a good rye bread patty melt. Oh yeah, buddy, I'm in.
Then I would just get a Reuben
or some pumpernickel. Ooh.
I think the best Reuben I ever had was a lobster Reuben.
What?
Yeah, it was in Jersey. Oh, Jersey. Yeah, it was the best Reuben, and it's this hole in the wall old colonial. Yeah, we have those.
It's the last one. The last one.
No, we have a bunch of them. But it was like a small like colonial hotel in Jersey, and in the basement is a restaurant. It's like a fine dining restaurant too, and they have lobster Reubens, and they did. I don't know if they're still open or whatever, but it was magnificent.
Wow, that sounds good.
Beautiful.
Sounds real good.
AJ says that Wahlburger in Cleveland, best burger I've had. I have had Wahlburgers. They are very good.
I still haven't, and I feel bad. He's Boston through and through. I gotta have a Wahlburger.
Well, I mean, not just Boston, but now he's in Uncharted. You know, so
I can't right now. I'm still prepping myself. I have to go see it.
Yeah,
I have to. And I know it's going to be a fine movie. It's going to be a fine movie. Everything's going to be fine because Tom Holland is a good actor. So he'll do fine as Nathan Drake. And, Mark Wahlberg, he's a delightful actor, one of my favorites. He'll be fine as Sully without a fucking mustache. But, no, I'm sure.
He gets a mustache.
At the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? It'll be fine. It'll be fine, Mike.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
PJ also says Nutter Butters and blueberry pie. Great choices. I'm more of a peach pie type of guy, but blueberry is brilliant.
Pecan all the way, bro.
Pecan is a wonderful thing.
And the good thing is I can't be a glutton for it because it hurts my teeth. Like after you've had your second piece, it's like, oh, I'm done. Oh, no, my mouth hurts now. So much sugar.
You know what I'm kind of a glutton for now? If the Honey Baked Ham store.
Yeah.
We go there for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We make everything else, but we get our turkey because we just like it sliced, and they're so good there. So we just go and we get an oven roasted turkey there for Thanksgiving, and we get a ham for Christmas. Well, they have rum cakes there. And Thanksgiving, I got it was like a 4-pack sampler. And I brought them in, not realizing that the kids can't eat rum cake. I didn't piece it together.
My aunt made rum balls one year for Christmas, and I was like, "What are these?" She's like, "Go ahead and try one." I took a bite, and I spit it right out. I was like, "That's terrible." Meanwhile, all the adults are like, "Ha ha."
Well, listen. Excuse me. Everybody was just listening to that horrible.
Both struggling. It's all the Ukraine stuff.
Well, yeah, it's it's fucking Putin, man. It puts a cough in my throat. So my big thing is like when I bought those, it's like 4 different things, like a vanilla, a chocolate, something else. But the one that got me was like a coconut, like a coconut vanilla cake.
Ooh.
And when I say that this was the most divine thing I've ever eaten, I'm exaggerating by a far, but it is fantastic. And it was wonderful to eat. So much though. And I ate all 4 of those little cakes. And I'm embellishing that too. They were actually pretty big. But
yeah, they little to me.
because my wife, I would come in, my wife goes, "You can't give rum cake to the kids." I was like, "Isn't that like isn't just rum sort of in the title?"
No,
It's
one of the few cakes where they legitimately don't burn the alcohol off. It's rum.
Fair enough. Well, they didn't have any. She was very smart. And I would never give it to her unless she knew anyway. And she was like, I don't really like rum cake. And I'm like, well, I guess I know who's gaining weight this Thanksgiving. And, and I ate them all. And the coconut one was by far my best. So you would think, all right, I'm going to go back and get a sampler for Christmas.
Yeah.
Nope. I got the giant rum cake. Because guess what? I ate that too. And
well, you got to commit.
And that is why I'm a glutton for coconut vanilla rum cake from the Honey Baked Ham Store.
So you still have a couple hours to eat some more cake real quick.
They're closed. I'd have to go.
Are you giving anything up for Lent?
What I should give up is probably buying pops.
That might be logical. I'm actually giving up comic books. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I mean, just buying them.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
Just buying them just for a little bit. But I've got a friend who does another show where I do my comic book buying. They do a live show. Montel, the Blurticorn, who we've had on here many times. Yeah, I love that guy. So I've been checking out his a couple times. And yeah, man, I'm spending too much money, bro.
Yeah. No, that's legit because I'm collecting the Devil's Reign right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Okay, so right now, The Devil's Reign is an ongoing series since December, and it's like, so it's a 6-part series, but I'm collecting all the tie-ins and such too. So like Spider-Woman has 2 tie-ins, Daredevil has 2 tie-ins, because Elektra is Daredevil now.
Okay.
Whole long story. He's still around, but it's a long story. Spider-Man has a tie-in, Moon Knight has a tie-in, just a ton, like X-Men, like everybody. Wow. Everybody has a tie-in.
Okay.
So it's like I have like 20 comics already, and it's not even done. It finishes on March 30th. So I still have 3 more. Well, actually, I have 5 more books I need to get. 2 were supposed to come out on the 23rd. They didn't come out. Well, they at least didn't come to my comic book shop. And then there's 3 more naturally coming out on the 9th, 16th, and the 30th. So I'm collecting those now. And I wanted to ask you this, actually. Okay, I'm collecting them. I'm not reading them.
Okay.
I don't like to read until I have the whole story.
Okay.
And I wanted to get your feelings on that as a collector. Mm-hmm. Do you read them as you get them? Or do you wait until you have everything and then you can read it in one foul swoop?
So generally what I like to do is try to see how many it's going to get into. So if there's something like I got into the new Batman and Robin when that came out years ago, like 2004, I think. That was a Frank Miller book. And
it was not the worst kind.
Oh yeah, it was decent. I enjoyed it, but I'm generally, if I'm testing the waters, I'm going to read the first and always look to get 1 and 2 because I want to see how the story's going to work. I don't mean to
cut you off, but isn't that the one where he bangs Black Canary on a dock?
Yeah. So anyway, like it wasn't a great read, all right, but the cover was beautiful and I like the art.
I'm the goddamn Batman.
No, it's terrible. But
the work was beautiful, Jim Lee.
Artwork is gorgeous. The artwork is gorgeous, and I'm also a big fan right now of Star Wars: The High Republic, which is a story and series that I wanted to get into. Now those books are going up in value, so I got some floppies. Happen to be a good price. Numbers 1 through 9. I like to read in chunks. Normally, I actually get the paper, like the whole novel, the actual. I want the story more than the book. If I get individual books, I'm doing it more for the artwork. So that's the way I kind of balance back and forth. I've stopped collecting floppies all the way through to try to get, I need 48 single issues. There's no chance. I'm not doing that because inevitably one of those books is going to be $100 in order to complete that whole run. Then that's just not going to happen for me. It's not realistic. So I just started buying hardcovers or cool display pieces. And that's kind of the way I collect. That's the way I've always really collected, just as eclectic as my brain is.
Well, you remember my collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I actually still have your Flashpoint book, buddy.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering because I knew I had Flashpoint and I couldn't find it. And I was like, all right, good. I'm glad you reminded me. So, I have a fairly big collection, and most of them are trades now. And the reason being, for anybody who's watching, Casey knows this story already, but my comic book collection when I lived in Florida and Los Angeles, was in New Jersey, and it got stolen. And when I say this was a collection where I started as a child, and they were first prints, and they were magnificent, and I collected them for years and years. I can't even. I just have to move on. I've gotten over this. Anyway, I decided I was never going to collect comic books again. I would read them, but I was like, I'm not collecting them ever again. And then when I had kids, I decided, all right, I'm going to take what I have and kind of collect again trades, only trades. So that way they can read full stories.
Right.
And I've collected a bunch of trades and stuff like that. And I still do. I just got Absolute Carnage. I got King in Black.
Nice.
I finally picked up Secret Wars, which I had first prints of all 12 issues.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Getting those omnibuses is always nice too. I do like an omnibus read. Like I have the Buffy omnibus for season 8, which is phenomenal. But then I get randoms. Like actually, I just got this in the mail. This was one that I've wanted for a long time from my childhood. It's two of my favorite things.
Yes.
I mean, come on, Star Trek and X-Men, bro.
I love it.
From like 97 or some such.
Well, what I started doing, because now with collecting trades, getting all the big comic book storylines and stuff like that together, it's helped me to kind of push forward and have stories for the kids to read, so that way they can read up all these our favorites. I don't go out, dive too deep into collecting independents. And the reason being is because a lot of those I had too. Older, I would start collecting independents, Image, Dark Horse, things like that. When I say that, of course. And when that got stolen, it was just like, it's too big. I can't afford everything. So I was like, for my kids, I'm going to just stick to the top two. So I have a lot of independent trades and stuff that I still had left over that wasn't stolen, and stuff I collected when I was away in Florida and California. Now I've kind of gone a little too deep. Because here in Winchester, we have a ton of collector shops. Mm-hmm. Like there's literally, you can't, it's so weird. Usually you walk into a town and you throw a rock up and you're going to hit a bar. And that's generally like every town. Yeah. Here in Winchester, you throw a rock up, you'd have a hard time not hitting a collector shop.
Which we don't recommend throwing rocks to hit things. That's not what we're saying. Unless you're in the Ukraine throwing at Russian tanks and soldiers, then fire away.
100% agree. So with that, I've started spending a little more money, a little more cheddar on like first print stuff. Like I have the number 1 of Luke Cage, Heroes for Hire. Mm-hmm. Hero for Hire. So like I have number 13 Defenders. And just little stuff like that I collect along the way. If I see it, I'll collect it. Mm-hmm. So like that's kind of where I'm at now. But it has been fun to collect it. So like when I heard Dark Reign was coming out, I was like, it's been a long time since I've just collected a series. I did it with the Ronin series for Ninja Turtles, which is really good.
Yeah, no, I do love that one. And the comics are gorgeous. Did you get singles on those? Did you get floppy singles, or did you go all the way to like trades? Okay.
No, I didn't do trades. I got singles. And so I want to get the trade because I don't want to keep reading the single.
Put those away. Put those away.
I don't really let the kids read the single.
I mean, I wouldn't let them.
Then I'll buy the trade so the kids can read them.
That's why that's what I've been doing with Riverman, Spider-Gwen, all of those Unbeatable Squirrel Girl trades all day.
Yeah, it's so smart. So I started collecting again a little bit. Like, you know me, I like doing the collectibles now, and I have a lot of Pops and a lot of other stuff. I started collecting the
Really?
Marvel
You
stuff.
have a lot of Pops?
A lot of Pops.
Just a
You know,
couple.
you know what's messed up? There's a picture of us doing the first episode of the Scene Snobs in the office here.
Mm-hmm.
And you look around, and there's like almost, like comparatively, almost no Pops.
Oh, it was vacant.
I had some.
By comparison, bro,
By
it was
comparison,
vacant.
it's not the same.
There was...
I went whole hog because I remember my first Pop came. I joined Loot Crate in 20.
Was that 2010? We both joined around the same time.
No, 2014. It was like because I was with Mary.
That's right, and I had River at the time. Yes, so of course.
And I got out of, and all I got, the first Pop I ever got was a create your own. It was like an all white Pop, and it comes with a marker, and it's like a make your own Pop. And I have that somewhere still. And I was like, this is kind of cool. I wish they did characters of this. Little did I know. There was a thing called My Geek Box or Geek Box or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I switched from Loot Crate to that, and it was so much better. And every month you got a Pop. So I did that for like, I don't know, 6-7 months. And I kept getting Pops, and I'm like, I dig this. I want to collect Pops of stuff I like. And I like the weird ones. So like with my Justice, not Justice League. I only have 4 members of the Justice League. But the Avengers, I have Captain America. I have Iron Man. I have everybody but Thor and Hulk.
Yeah.
And that's because my Black Widow is first appearance Black Widow. So it's her in the blue, like with the big thing.
Yeah, the winged visions.
My Hawkeye is old costume Hawkeye. I like weird looking Pops. Like I like Pops that are just different.
Well, OG Hawkeye is the man. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I
Hawkeye.
like that one too.
That's my Hawkeye, yo.
Absolutely. So I do that, and so I'm still trying to decide which Hulk and which. I know what Hulk I want, but it's like
NPR.
No. They have Battle Hulk from Ragnarok, and it's a blacklight series, and it's a 10-inch bobblehead. I want that one. That's the one I want, and it's like
the $900 special edition super collectors, only 14 made.
I know but like I want it so bad, and that's the Hulk I want to be there because I have a million Spider-Man.
Yeah,
not really. I don't have all the Spider-Man I need. I need a lot more.
Well, I mean, I can't really say anything. You were there the day I got my Spider-Man 300. You remember me calling my partner at the time and going, "Hey, can I spend this because I found it?"
And it was just me saying, get it.
Yeah, the whole time. And I'm like, I've got a kid on the way. Like, is this a good idea?
Yeah.
And it was a great idea.
And you know what? And it had to happen because when I think about that, that was a moment when you were holding it. I was very jealous and like fighting back tears because again, these are all comics I had first prints of and they were stolen from me, Casey. And I wasn't jealous in a way that was like, you don't deserve it. It was more like I just wish I still had it.
I just want my things back. That's what that feeling is at the end of the day. Like, I can't find my Spawn. I had a Spawn, I believe it was number 32, and it was the one where he fought the KKK, and he went down and, like, hangs the judge and everything. It's a really good, great Spawn. It's fantastic. And the fact that I can't find that one is like, but I just want my thing. Like, I'm not even sad or mad. I just want my thing.
I know. And there's so many. Actually, the Batman picture you got me, the 11x17, I had that one too. I had so many. I had the whole Nightfall series, everything. Oh man, it's just so the 90s was very big for me. Especially
Same.
it started in like 88 and then like went on, and I went on until I left. So like that was 2006.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't collect everything, people. It wasn't like I had every comic book ever in existence. I collected certain comics, and like I collected all the Spider-Man. I collected Spectacular. I collected Amazing. I collected the team ups, things like that. Those I went all out for, but only Action Comics for Superman. Later, I collected Superman as well when I had my own money. Detective Comics for Batman, and any kind of offshoots for certain stories.
Yeah, mine were absolutely X-Men. That was my top A number one. That was what I was going for all the time, anytime I could. So the Chris Claremont run was one of the best in the history of X-Men. And then Now, I hate to say it and admit it, but the Astonishing X-Men that came out later with the Whedon was the writer, but Cassidy
It's
was
fine.
the inker, and Cassidy was amazing. I loved his art. So that was a loss.
And for me, it's like, you can. I feel like in certain areas, if you feel if it's left to a person, if you can detach the art from the monster, it's fine. And then this came up. I was actually talking to my wife because I watched the docuseries that W. Kamau Bell made. We need to talk about Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest everybody watch this documentary. It's gut wrenching and horrifying and eye opening and so much more. And this man, for many people of many different races, cultures, everything, was a father figure. And you wanted to be a part of his family. Myself definitely included in that.
Right there.
So when this came out, I wasn't a denier. I was horrified that this human being could do this.
I was not shocked by the depravity of human beings. It was more like, damn. It was very much so that sucks, because I was upset for myself. I was saddened for myself for what I had lost. It was a very selfish thing. Yeah. But then to kind of listen to victims and put yourself in their shoes and start to understand where you come from, and he's a monster. I'm sorry. There's things that had to be stopped that are absolutely deplorable, and I can't back it. And that's by supporting the art, you're supporting him in a way. So I struggle with that.
I can never watch. Yeah. I can't listen to any of his comedy. Can't watch any of it. And Cosby Show, like, that would be on at like 3:00 in the morning after I get home, like from hanging out drinking or whatever. And my brother would call me and be like, Cosby Show's on. And we would like watch the Cosby Show and laugh about it because we loved that show growing up. And since the news broke, I have not been able to watch the Cosby Show. I can't even, like, if it's on, even if he's not on the screen, I love all of those characters so much that I'm like, I can't detach it. I cannot. And it horrifies me.
I mean, Bill Cosby himself was a masterclass in how to do a perfect stand-up for all ages. And it was one that I loved. I knew that thing by heart. Like, I wore out that VHS tape to learn it, to learn what funny was. It was him and Eddie Murphy Raw. Really crazy difference. But that's what I cut my teeth on, watching Joe Piscopo on SNL.
That's a little bit of a stretch.
I tried for it. I tried for it.
No, but watching this documentary, like, I was calling him a monster since the news broke. Watching this documentary and realizing just how deep it goes. Monster isn't even the right term.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying. So, but I had this talk with my wife, and I'm like, can you detach the art from the artist? Because they talked about it in the documentary, and I'm like, I cannot with Bill Cosby. I can't. Because you made me trust you. You made everyone trust you and believe in you and believe in what you were doing. And then you turned around. Now, R. Kelly, this motherfucker was singing about hiding in a closet. Yeah, I believe he did the shit he did.
Of course he did. I mean, there's been reports on that for years, and I've always thought he was a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
After what
do I actively search out the remix of Ignition? No. If it's on, do I turn it off? Probably not.
I do now. I can't. I have that issue where I can't, because to any version of it, to any portion of it, to me, it's supporting them. And I absolutely will not. And that's just my choice. As a consumer, my greatest power is what I choose to put in and what I choose to consume. So I choose not to consume those things because I don't want to show any sign of support for them.
Well, our friend
Roman Polanski, for fuck's sake. I don't watch Roman Polanski movies. I don't talk about Roman Polanski movies because the dude's a piece of shit.
Absolute piece of shit. Horrible, horrible human being. Chinatown's really fucking good.
Sorry, man. I love Chinatown, but once I found out what the connection was, I can't anymore. And I know it's one of your favorites. It makes it even harder.
Here's the problem for me. If you go back, most genius artists that made things that are beautiful have done some horrific things.
And that's why you have to learn to separate yourself from them and remove yourself from those things. So that includes their art. Hitler
But
was
you're
an
going
artist.
to
Sorry, I'm
you're
not
going to
trying to
probably
collect his
remove
paintings.
you're probably going to remove yourself from a lot of things.
That's been happening. I'm fine with it. That's where my stand comes from,
Well,
because that's the only
that's
power
fine.
I have in this world as a consumer.
But that's fine, and I don't have a qualm against somebody doing that. I'm just saying I don't have that belief structure. Now, I pick and choose. Like, I can't watch anything Cosby or listen to anything Cosby anymore. It was too much. But there are things where I'm like, all right, I'm fine, whatever. And Sasha opened my eyes to that when we had her on the show, and she's adamantly speaking out in the trans community against J.K. Rowling. And I said to her, I was like, it's hard for me to detach from Harry Potter. I was like, I'm not a fan, but my kid is a fan. And how do I stop that? And she goes, don't buy the books at the bookstore.
Yeah.
Go to a secondhand store. Do things like that. Make sure the money doesn't go into her pocket. That's how you stop that flow. And you stop that. And I was like, it's a good point. So what I'm saying to you, Casey, get off your high horse and start stealing everything. That's the lesson that I'm trying to teach you in this podcast today. Start robbing.
I mean, obviously, I haven't been doing it right. I need to really refocus. And you know what? Look, man, after this, I'm going to make a concerted effort, and I'm just going to start stealing like crazy.
Just got to run in, and you got to grab those Buffy DVDs from the Barnes & Noble and just run.
And I figure if I just run in screaming the whole time and then grab them and scream on the way out, no one will think anything, right?
You got to be like Freddie Got Fingered when he's running in Japan 4, Japan 4, Japan 4, and it's just like no, everybody's like just like, what does that mean? And he just keeps running.
Just do the whole Kermit run. Perfect.
All right, I hate to segue like this, but I feel like we should get to the Batman because it's Batman coming out this week, and we've had the monster talk, and I don't want to pay them any more minds.
Yeah, we're done with all that. We still stand with Ukraine.
Damn right. But I need to ask you, Casey, what is and we can go screen versions only because the comic book version clearly wins out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that earlier, and I was like, I hope people are sticking with screens because I can't handle the other one.
Only screens, and the Batman doesn't count because we haven't seen it yet. What is the worst Gotham City on screen? Like, which one would you be like, I don't want to live here?
Okay, first of all, none of them. Not a fucking one of them do I want to live in. I don't want to live in any version of Gotham. Okay, Gotham City, first of all, it represents everything that I'm against. It's some super high-level tech world that is just stuck in the Industrial Revolution age and never pushed forward. So it's already blurping out tons of bullshit. It's got waste byproducts out the butt. There's radiation. There's all kinds of different fluids. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. There's all kinds of gases being sent around. There's different trains that never run on time. Screw Gotham. And you never even know when in the world the freaking bridges are going to go up or down. You don't know. I mean, someone could block a bridge. There's only 3 bridges, 3 entrances into Gotham. You know where I don't want to be? In a place that only has 3 entrances with an island with giant people trying to kill you and venom on the streets.
When did it become an island?
Yeah. I'm not actually sure when they broke out into becoming that was well after Bob Kane.
Jesus.
But
AJ says Titans like Gotham.
Yeah, Titans Gotham. I get that's a rough one. But I'm definitely going to have to stick with what do you call it? The Joel Schumacher's Gotham. You know why? There's 3 reasons. Number 1, those roving bands of crazy people who dress in helmets everywhere and all sorts of different. I mean, my God, it looks like they have mascot heads on, and those are supposed to be your bad guys. What the fuck do your good guys look like? I'm terrified. Any thought process of walking down the street and the idea of being in a gang to be initiated is you're beaten as they throw on like a furry head and just start hammering on you. So no, that's a terrible reason. The second one is the coloring. The light structure is terrible. Who in the shit is in charge of lighting Gotham? Because all they've done is add too many neons. They've burned my retina. So I'm not going to be able to drive or function better. I'm more susceptible to crime. And who knows, it might crack me and I finally just go insane. And I legitimately join the crime bosses. That's possible too. So that's awful. Number 3, I don't want Batman with nipples defending me.
I can get past the bat nipples if I need a defense. Because he can still fight. Still has gadgets. That's fair. Here's my thing. And I'm going to go through this. So right now, I'm going to say probably the safest Gotham. And I'm going to get rid of cartoons on this too, the animated series, because there's so many of them.
Harley Quinn would actually probably be the weirdest and wildest Gotham to be in, but I don't think it'd be the worst. I live in that Gotham.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Harley Quinn Highway? Hell yeah.
I would definitely live in the Margot Robbie. That's the one I would choose. But which one would I choose not to live in? All right, here's the deal. I'm going to take out and say the safest versions are the versions that are most realistic. And the reason I say that is because it's more based in reality and I can survive it. I just have to maneuver through what the crime is.
Like fucking gas from Scarecrow?
Yeah, but when am I going to come up to Scarecrow? Now, I'm not saying there's not a threat there. What I'm saying is, what's scarier? A gas from Scarecrow that could be that Ra's al Ghul wants to put in the water system, or blimps that are spreading deadly gas that I cannot get away from because my apartment is on the main road that they're traveling down, and I'm screwed. And, whereas with the water system, it's like I feel like anybody can just feasibly like we know that it's going to, you can exist there. There's something there. If you're smart, you can get through.
Yeah, you just got to deal with the massive levels of corruption on every level and the organized crime. If you can get through that.
But that we live that anyway in this country.
I mean, totally valid.
So, but at least with all that level, like there's some form of social contract amongst the criminals that you're just kind of like, all right, I can most likely survive this. And you do, because you have Batman on your side. Now, jumping back. And I continue that on with the Affleck, Gotham, and such too. Now, jumping back into the Schumacher. That is a whirlwind, and probably, I would say, the most dangerous, if not for my top choice. Because they have roads that are on statues 100 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And it's impossibly dangerous.
Like the same person who designed the city was a carnival designer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put together theme parks.
I would now, the Burtons are horrifying because of the villains. The villains are so out there, and you have chemical plants with just acid baths.
Max Shrek with trying to open up a power plant that just takes power.
It's so weird, but still, in my opinion, not the most dangerous. The most dangerous is the 1966 Batman movie, Gotham. Now, why? Because the United Nations exists in Gotham City in that movie and is made up of 6 people. And it very easily were they able to go into the United Nations conference room, and turn them all into magic dust by dehydrating them.
Yeah.
That is that right there. If Batman is not there or incapacitated, means you have all of these crazy villains running around with henchmen everywhere.
Oh, God, the number of henchmen back in those days, too. They just kept throwing bodies at people.
Now, on top of that, it's the 60s. So it's not exactly a good time for a lot of people. Present company excluded.
Yeah, we're fine.
But many other people and cultures are not in a good place. And we're not rich. So I feel like if you're not working an everyday job or in the UN, which is dangerous within itself.
Yeah, which we've discovered.
Or one of their henchmen, which is also dangerous within itself. You could be one of the people that might get blown up with Batman running around with a giant bomb. This makes this, and every week there's an issue. Every week there's a supervillain who just wants to cause catastrophe within Gotham City. And
how
it's
about
like
the villains in the sub?
Which
That
one?
sub that just floats around that all the villains are in.
Yeah.
Come on.
They have a sub. They have a submarine in the Lake of Gotham or whatever it is.
But Gotham Harbor or some such.
So to me, the worst Gotham to live in is the one that causes major chaos when you decide I'm going to dehydrate the UN members, all 6 of them. 6 of them. There was as many countries back then as there are now, but it's all 6 of them. And one of them has a really bad Irish accent, and I'm pretty sure it said France in front of him. It's so bad.
Well, you clearly don't know about the large Irish population in France.
Yeah, I guess not.
Represented, especially at Gotham.
To me, that is a number one, the worst Gotham to live in. Because we also don't have any cool technology.
Shark repellent. Bat shark repellent.
Yeah, he made that. That's a Batman thing. I don't get that. That's not, so like the shark would eat me.
Oh yeah, no, you're done.
And on top of that, let's face facts. Batman and Robin in that show are probably as dangerous as everyone else.
Yeah, they're more than likely going to wind up killing somebody inadvertently because they just throw things and gas goes off everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, are we sure that Batman's going to guarantee that those are always the right gas bombs in that utility belt?
That's fair. Well, if you go back to the Nolan Batmans, if you lived through in Gotham City through the first one, and you owned any sort of property, and then you lived through the second one with the Joker running around,
yeah,
the next one takes place 8 years later, and they say that Gotham is a whole new city. It is safe. There's no crime. It's perfect. And then, of course, it's seized and shut off from the rest of the world. So what that says to me is, if you're still living there and you didn't take advantage of the obvious hikes in the real estate that is happening, then you're the idiot, and you can live in the bridgeless wonder that is Gotham City. I'm in Metropolis now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even go. I'm going Star City, bro. Give me the technology. Give me the opportunity to have someone who can put shields around me. No, where's Green Lanterns? That's where I want to be.
That's
Angel City?
Star City was Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Star City I would never live in because obviously somebody's always failing that city.
Well, no, and Star City's not just Green Arrow, it's also what's his nuts? The Flash.
No, that's Central City.
Oh, is it Central City? Okay,
Yeah.
Then I'd rather go to Central City.
Yeah, it's fair. Flash, I feel like would take care of business. I wouldn't bank there, but
no, oh God, no.
Because it always seems like the Flash is fighting some sort of
Bank of Metropolis all day. Yeah, that's.
I feel like you're safest with Superman. I feel like
your money's safest with Superman. I don't know if you physically, because buildings being knocked down.
Well, don't live in the city. There's got to be a suburban area somewhere in Metropolis.
Metropolis. What, like Causeway?
Metropolis, like conjunct. It's like just off to the side.
Metropolis Oblast.
So I got to stand by Batman 66 is my worst Gotham City to live in.
Completely. I love it. Mine is absolutely Joel Schumacher's, man. I can't enough. Batman Forever was bad. Batman and Robin was way worse. That's a terrible place to be.
It is a hard one. And you got to deal with all those colors because it's just colors everywhere.
That's my issue is with the colors. Now, look, everyone, the way they dressed was A-okay. If that was all I had to deal with was the crazy dressing outfits, that'd be enough. But it adds so much more to the colors that the combination of the two drive you insane. And then I would literally, like I said, I would have a furry head put on me. I would get beat in. And I would then become one of the guys on the motorcycles with the big skulls and the hats that obviously made sense around Mardi Gras time.
Yeah, that's true. I can't imagine walking down the street and it's just all blue in one section. Then you turn the corner, it's all red, and then it's all green. I can't.
Then pink, but then, in a way though, at least you know whose villain you're in, which villain's area you're in. So it's like you can decide. Well, I'm going to go to Blue Zone because I'm a little better off with Mr. Freeze.
Well, I think my favorite meme about Batman and Robin is, so you're telling me we should fight against the guy who's fighting against climate change and the woman who's fighting against climate change are the bad guys, and the billionaire who's trying to stop them is the good guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So that settles that.
Yeah, that's definitely not a universe I want to live in.
No. But on that note, I think we're going to wrap it up here, everybody. I appreciate you guys watching, and future listeners, thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate you. If you are not watching, I am sporting a very nice Scene Snobs logo shirt.
Quite sexily.
We have that merch now, and we have so many great designs, not just the logo. Like one of my favorites I picked up, which is, if you can't see it, what's the strongest ship in the fleet, Casey?
The friendship.
Friendship. The TSS friendship. So, we are getting, we're gearing up there. If you go to thescenesnobsmerch.com or just go to thescenesnobs.com, there's links there too. Also, make sure you guys join the Discord. We have fun conversations going on there. If you're on Facebook, we have the Scene Snobs Movie Club. You can join in there. We have good times. And so much more. So we have lots of stuff going on. We are going to try and gear up. Hopefully we can put together a fun-a-thon for this month. But the Snobbies, March 27th, our award show for independent podcasters. The judges are judging it now. The Scene Snobs are actually in it this year.
What?
Yeah, we were submitted. I didn't even submit us. We were submitted.
We can't. That's not what we do. All we are here for is to present.
Well, we can be submitted this year because last year we did have something. We didn't judge, but we tallied and everything.
Right.
This year, it's literally I'm just putting whatever they give me, I'm putting down on paper, and they pick everything. We have judges who are doing it. So
I love that our panel is growing too. 6 judges. That's a lot.
We have a lot. We only have, I think, 2 returning shows this year.
Wow.
Everybody else is all new, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so I'm excited for it. We're going to see a lot of stuff. So March 27th, I think that's at 2 p.m. because we do it the same day as the Oscars. Boycott the Oscars; they suck. We are gonna, we'll do the Snobby Awards and join us there, and then I'm sleeping until we go to Carolina Fear Fest.
Yeah, sounds about right. I'll be taking over for April. And then
because Carolina Fear Fest, get your tickets now. They have such an awesome guest list.
I'm so excited. Oddly, the more the closer we get, the more excited I'm like, I get to meet Jordan Ladd.
Yeah.
Like, when in my life did I ever think I'd get an opportunity to meet Jordan Ladd? That's radical, man.
I'm excited because I really like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. And I've talked about this before. We've even, over on Pulling Focus, interviewed Jack Shoulder, the director. And Mark Patton's going to be there at the start of the movie. So I'm definitely excited for that. They announced that. Ken Foree's going to be there. There's just going to be so many people that I'm very excited to sit down and talk with and have a good time.
It's going to be fantastic. So really excited. Isn't Clint Howard, bro?
Clint Howard, man.
Clint Howard, man. Come on.
He's so awesome. So we're going to have a great time there. We are official representatives of the Carolina Fear Fest. So make sure, get your tickets, join in with us, have a good time. You can find carolinafearfest.com, which you can find links on thescenesnobs.com. We are in the midst of redoing the website, so that should be a lot of fun. But
sweet.
We just thank you for all your continued support. If you guys are interested in supporting us over on Patreon, we have a lot of stuff going on there as well. And a lot more coming because we have a lot planned for that. But we do monthly prize giveaways. AJ just won this past February. We'll gear up for March. If you join up, you will be eligible. Just different prizes that kind of go along. This month, AJ won a 22 by 34 Infinity Saga poster and a Black Panther Funko Pop. But we've done like movie posters, board games, all movie themed. Funko Pops, T-shirts, stuff like that. So we have some fun stuff that really comes about. So check that all out on thescenesnobs.com and more. Casey.
My friend, we're super excited. Thank you so much for joining us, whether it was this evening here live or the opportunity at any point to turn us on, because after all, we're a podcast. Appreciate you and love you. Thank you so much. Be kind to each other. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Casey. I can never say it better than that. So I'm not even going to try, but I will say, AJ, we are going to be doing a Geekcast Live very soon. We'll be talking about that. So I know you'll tune in and I appreciate it, but we will get to that. But thank you again for joining the show, everybody. And we do just appreciate you. All right. Take care. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, mixed movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest Live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original and fun designs that are available on all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.